And we are live at my office suites in Peoria, Arizona. You're listening to Breakthrough Entertainment. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Dave, alongside Joseph, Jay, Erdl, and Greg on the production side. But he may chime in because he usually does. He loves his L.A. Dodgers.
Yes.
And before we get to our guest, Joseph, how are you?
I'm doing great. Of course, we are also broadcasting live in-studio video and audio on Periscope at Break Radio Show. Exciting.
At Break Radio
At
Show.
Break Radio Show.
That's awesome.
And of
around
course
the world in 180 days.
Yes, all over the world.
All over?
Yes. The World Wide Web, as it's called.
Not according to George Bush.
From Sweden to
Ohio. And that's a private joke. If you want to know, write to Joseph with that.
I've got a joke. I looked at a dirty joke book in the thrift store.
Are you kidding me?
I looked at it.
A dirty joke book?
Yeah.
You can make up your own?
Huh?
Yeah, probably not.
I've got plenty of my own.
All right, well, if it's clean.
No, it's not clean.
So you can't say it.
Probably not appropriate for today's, but on a future show, possibly.
What if we shut off the broadcast?
No, we don't want to.
You tell me.
No,
okay.
we can say anything. We just don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want.
We don't want to scare off our guests because we've got a great guest that we'll be bringing on in just a few moments, and So.
In fact, you could almost call him a star.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're
going to gaze at him.
Well, you're going to gaze at him.
Okay.
And then,
all right.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
we'll talk all about
movies?
that in a few minutes. But yeah, we wanted to make sure that everyone knew what was going on in terms of the movies because we love our movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
I haven't loved very many movies lately.
You haven't loved many movies?
No, remember I said I saw Spider-Man. I saw
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
How do you not love Wonder Woman?
I did not love Wonder Woman. I didn't. I have not. It's been a really disappointing.
Even if
summer.
you hated the movie, you gotta love Wonder Woman.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Aren't you wondering? Okay.
Not really.
So you didn't like it. So
I didn't
have
like
you seen Kidnapped?
I did. Well, no, not Kidnapped.
What is it?
I saw
Catnap?
No, not Catnap.
What is it?
Catnap. Kidnap.
And
just
is that
Kidnap.
good?
No ED. Starring Halle Berry. Well, I can't even say her name.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah,
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
She's beautiful.
Yes, and it's basically someone takes her son.
Oh.
And she loses her cell phone in the parking lot as she's chasing them down, and gets in her own car, chases them, and that's pretty much the first hour of the movie. She's chasing them, and there's a few surprises along the way where she has to get out of the car and confronts them, and this is very exciting.
Movie. It was good?
It is my favorite movie of the year, possibly so far.
Well, of course, because you hated everything else.
Pretty much, I know. But no, it's 5 stars. This is a breakthrough, Dave.
5 stars.
5 stars. It is so exciting. You've got to see this movie. You like Taken, right?
Yeah, Liam. What's his name? Whatever his
Liam
name
Neeson?
is.
You almost sounded like you were saying Liam Rhymes.
Oh, yeah, or
something.
Leanne Hull. Oh, no, that's
Who?
someone. She's a politician. She used to be. Okay, so is it out in the movies now?
It's in the theater, yes. It came out, I think, last Friday.
You
or
raised
2
your
Fridays
voice to a very high level.
Well,
that hurt my ears.
Well, when I'm arguing with you, because I know I'm right and you're wrong.
So you said you were wrong the other day.
No, I was wrong the other day talking about something that we're going to be talking about today. But I'm usually right when I'm talking about credit cards and stuff.
Yeah, where are my credit cards?
I'm right, and the other people are wrong.
Okay.
I don't know where your credit
it
cards
got
are.
released
Greg,
Thursday.
do you have them?
No, Thursday it was released, right, or Friday?
It was Friday. Well, it's Thursday night.
How's it doing, box office?
I don't know. I haven't checked, but I think that it should be doing really well because it is a very exciting movie.
A breakthrough.
It is a breakthrough. I thought it was outstanding.
You did give the most breakthroughs of all of us, right?
Oh yeah, I'm usually
we don't.
lenient.
We're picky on.
You're
lenient.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's called Kidnap.
Kidnap, yes, and it is so exciting. It is like the female version of Taken, except for the fact it's just a normal woman. This is just a mother, and I love.
Halle Berry is not a normal woman.
She's better than Wonder Woman.
No.
That.
Well, I don't know. Greg, is she better than Wonder Woman? I don't know. He says no.
No.
I don't know. She is.
She's
no,
okay.
I go.
She
for
played she played Catwoman. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she played Catwoman.
Oh that. And now she's following it up by Kidnap. It's
yes.
Close.
So Catnap, kind of, yeah. But
so you give it a breakthrough. That's amazing.
And it's I love the line in the movie, and they play it in the trailers. It's one of those lines where where Liam Neeson is talking about
make my day.
No, that's a different movie.
No,
but
that's not The Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Right. No, but when Liam Neeson says, you don't know me, my special skills and all that stuff. I'm not going to go over the lines. But Halle Berry in Taken, not Taken,
No,
in
not
Kidnap.
Taken.
No, she wasn't in that.
Oh,
Halle Berry
she was
in
to
Kidnap
give it
says,
different
"You
meaning.
took the wrong kid."
And then what happened?
You're going to have to see the movie to find out.
I'll check it out.
So if you have not seen
I have not
Kidnap, you've got to see Kidnap ASAP.
Breakthrough.
Watch with someone that you love.
Watch it with someone you love?
I don't know. It just sounded like something that I would say.
Yeah, it does sound something like you would say. It has
yeah.
no meaning, but no, I guess that's meaningful. A little bit romantic, I think. It's an action film.
It's an action film.
No, take someone you love to
to what?
Bridges over Madison High or whatever it's called.
That's a little scary.
Well, no, okay. Or the Wandering Pants. Or remember
the
that?
Wandering Pants.
Remember that thing? That's
a problem that you have in the morning. The pants you can't find them, and you say, "Where are my Greg? Have you seen my pants?"
Could be my dating career. I don't know. But anyway,
she's not doing good. She wandered away. Is that
so? The pants.
Sounds like we'll talk about that another time. Dave's turning red.
I am indeed. Okay, so I have not seen movies, so sorry I can't say much. But we did have a great comedian on our NBC Sports program every Saturday from 12 to 3. Angelo, what was the last name? Do you remember, Greg? Angelo. I'll have to get it. The guy was fantastic, though. Oh, he really is a great comedian. Performing at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy every Saturday. They come on down and do a little bit of interview and their shtick, as they call it.
I saw Piff the Magic Dragon there.
Piff the Magic Dragon?
Yeah.
You know what that really means?
No, Piff, not Puff. Piff.
Oh, so you do know what it means. I was testing.
Yes.
I don't know what Piff.
I think someone named Eric probably knows what that means,
too.
too.
Yeah, that's right. He used to.
Me? No, not me.
No, not you. But Eric did.
I was going to say Eric
did. Oh, well,
yeah.
I'm not going to say Eric did. Not live on the air. But I think, that's right. You, Rick Bronson, you knew them. We deal with them every week now.
Yes.
Great place.
They're saying,
I like it.
And no, they're saying on Periscope, Powder Puff Girls, no.
Puff Girls? What's a Puff Girl?
Puff Girls, no. Yeah, I don't know.
What is a Puff Girl?
I think that's something probably for another show.
Okay.
We'll have those on Match No Match.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We're going to crank that up again. So,
But make sure you go to breakradioshow.com, which is where you can find links to all of our past shows as well as
quite a few,
as well as the NBC
We've
show.
had some great guests on, from Bill Maher to Miles Teller to Miles Teller is really coming into his own. He's movie after movie. Great acting too.
Great acting.
Miles Teller.
Yeah. I would say great acting. But
you know what?
in
one
person,
of his,
I
my
would
favorite.
Say, what?
War Dogs.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was great with what's his name? Jonah Hill and Miles Teller.
I didn't care for that one.
I like that a lot. I thought Jonah Hill was phenomenal with his laugh.
In person, I didn't think that Miles Teller was that nice of a...
Oh, okay. He said it. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there's our chance of getting
nice of a looking
the
guy.
megastar again.
Well, oh.
Yeah. How many times? Come on. You're going to... I don't know what to say.
I don't know where you're going. Me either.
But Miles Teller, we love you.
Well, we're already not going to have Wonder Woman on the show, but
yeah, we are.
No.
Speak for yourself on that one.
I'll stay home that day.
Okay.
But
all right.
But Catwoman, that's okay.
Yeah, I guess that's okay. So,
Meow.
All right. Well, that's really exciting. So,
all right.
So no time for both ends of the spectrum today.
No, probably not. No, but because we've got a really big event coming up on Monday, not Tuesday, as I was arguing with someone earlier today.
Monday.
That is the 21st.
Because we have an expert that's going to say it's Monday and not Tuesday.
Yes,
is my guess.
Yes. And again, no, not both ends of the rainbow. That's a different show.
No, that's what do you call it?
As soon as you can join us on Periscope and you can comment on the shows as well. And so we are cross-platform here on Breakthrough Entertainment.
You've been smoking or what?
No, not me.
Okay.
All right. So we're just going to keep getting that in there. But we've got a very special guest. He is a NASA ambassador. And also with Stargazing for Everyone. Tony LaConte, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
This is exciting. Ever since I was a kid, and that was a long time ago, they always said, when there's a solar eclipse, do not look directly at the sun.
That is good advice.
So
not only during an eclipse, but any time.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I guess you could, as the moon passes over the sun, and you won't notice it as much.
No. Unless you're in the path of totality, you don't even want to look at it. Even if you just get a thin sliver, like let's say 90 or 95%, it's still enough to bother your eyes.
So, but is that because, like right now, you can't really look at the sun,
right?
But because my guess is I've never tried it, nor will I try it, but as the moon passes over, it's more bearable that you don't know anything's happening and you can look at it because
no, stuff is happening because it'd be turning into nighttime. In the middle of the day, it turns into night. The stars come out.
Yeah. It's bearable to look at it. You just don't want to.
As long as the moon is totally covering the sun, you can look up directly.
Yeah.
But as soon as the moon ever so slightly moves away from the sun, and you just get that little thin crescent, just a little bit of the sun peeking out, that's enough to damage your eyes.
Man, that's amazing. How long would you have to stare at it for that to happen?
Well, if you had a pair of binoculars, snap your fingers, and you'd be blind that quick.
If you're looking at through a pair.
Binoculars.
But just regular eye?
Regular eyes, your eyes would squint and shut very quickly.
Okay, so you may not damage it.
No, but if you keep on peeking up at it, you'll desensitize it.
You
don't want to do that.
No, you don't.
Do not do that.
I know. I just want to make sure people get the point. Don't.
It sounded
do that.
like you were like desperate to do it. It was like
No.
you were.
Oh no, I don't want to do it.
Like, well,
I remember.
Is there any way that I could possibly look at the sun?
Exactly.
I would always walk out like this during the
No,
eclipse.
you don't have to do that.
Oh, now this is not a total eclipse, though.
It is a total eclipse for portions of the United States. As a fact.
Oh, really?
I got a little chart
got a
here.
Star map.
No, it's a chart of an eclipse. No stars on it, other than the sun.
This is a star. Are we allowed to look at this right now because it's blinding?
Yeah, I know it's very bright.
Okay.
Yeah, on Monday, August 21st, 2017, the shadow of the moon is going to pass through this area here, going in from Oregon and out through the Carolinas. And in that path, the whole entire sun will be blocked by the moon for up to about 2 minutes and about 40 seconds.
And it'll be totally dark outside.
Right. Basically, it'll turn nighttime. You'll be able to look up and see the stars and planets.
Wow.
And if you look out towards the horizon, it's as though someone put a bowl partway down. And if you look out about 30, 40 miles on either side of you, if you have a nice clear sight, you'll see sunlight all the way around you.
Oh, that's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a total eclipse.
You probably haven't. There's not that many, that actually pass through the continental United States like this here. The last one like this was back in the 1600s that actually took this same path and then, or a similar path. And then back in this is going way back in the year 136 was almost identical to this.
How did you were around there?
Yeah, I remember that well. I was 35 at the time, but how do they trace back and know it's the same path way back?
Oh, because of we now have computers and we know that the moon orbits the sun, the Earth, and the Earth orbits the sun. We can actually predict. As a fact, the first predictions of eclipses date back to around 1400 BC.
Wow!
And those were lunar eclipses, and then solar eclipses start to be accurately predicted around 150, 200 AD.
Really?
Yeah. So we've been predicting eclipses for well over 3,000 years.
So it doesn't look like in Phoenix it's going to be a total eclipse.
Nope, we're going to get a partial eclipse, and this chart shows that the partial will start around 9:15, 9:20. At 10:33, we're going to get the maximum coverage, and at 12 noon, the eclipse will end. And then different places around the United States will have different amounts of coverage. Here in Phoenix, we're going to get 63%, Denver about 92%, Chicago and up in that area about 88%.
Dallas?
Dallas is right in that 75% line.
Oh, wow. That's Now, will in Phoenix be partially dark then?
You'll see a dimming. 63% sounds like a lot, but the sun is still very, very bright.
Yeah.
It's more than 1,000 times brighter than a full moon, so even like this here is still going to be very bright.
I've been looking at the moon recently.
That's okay. It's a good thing. You can do that.
Wow, so who's going to get the full total?
Well, all the way through here, the greatest part of the eclipse is going to be right here in the Tennessee, Kentucky area.
Really?
Kentucky, okay. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So even though, let's see, so Kentucky, so Louisville, those type of cities will get Kansas City, it looks like, right?
Yeah,
St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis is just on the borderline. Kansas City just on the borderline. You want to be right in the center. The center is where you're going to get your max. And as you drift away from the center, you'll get less and less until you're out here when you don't get any of the totality. So St. Louis would probably only get a few, maybe 10, 15 seconds. The same with Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
But in the center line here is where you're going to get those 2 minutes.
And who are those? What city is that again?
I really don't know. There's too
okay.
many cities. Any city along here.
Atlanta will get pretty good.
97%.
Wow. This is really exciting. Did you do this chart yourself?
Actually, no. This gentleman down here, Mr. Eclipse, Fred, he puts out an eclipse chart, and he has the maps, and he has actually a book that puts it out there. I modified this slightly to add some of the times for major cities and put the pictures for Phoenix locally, because when we go out to schools with our programs, we want to enlighten people about what they can see, the safety of viewing through the solar glasses.
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about that later on, too.
Definitely.
And, so what we try to do is on major celestial events, we have a chart or something that explains the event here.
That is amazing. So New York.
So at 10:33 Arizona time is when we're going to see the most
maximum,
here. Yeah,
maximum coverage.
But
right.
do not look at the sun.
No, do not
look away. Look away. One movie said that. Who said that?
I don't know, Dave.
Look away. Okay. Yeah, that's important. Now, I have seen on TV a lot of controversy for whatever reason on these goggles or glasses you wear.
Well,
before we started, you mentioned that maybe there's some inaccurate information going on.
Yeah, well, they're accurate with some of the bogus glasses that are out there.
Yeah.
I think they've put an overemphasis on all the glasses being like that. The pair I'm holding here now are from Thousand Oaks Optical. I've been working with them for literally decades. They make a lot of the professional solar filters that you'll see astronomers using to take pictures and videotape the sun. The problem I had was on the TV, the people were saying that when you put the glasses on, if you can't see your hand in front of it, the glasses are good. And that's really not a good test.
No.
Because you can get a very dark pair of sunglasses that'll do something similar. You want to take these glasses, put them on, and then put a 100-watt light bulb right in front of you. And if you cannot see the 100-watt light bulb through it, then you're safe.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so basically, if you were to look through these here, you will not see anything. If you had a 100-watt light bulb sitting in front of you.
Oh, my gosh, I can't see anything.
No, you won't.
Here, let's see, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Oh, I see Joseph.
Yeah.
He's as bright as they get.
Well,
no, really, you'd be amazed.
Some people are so hot like the sun.
You want to see through these?
Yeah, let's see.
No, really, I
can't see
anything.
You can't see anything. Right?
I don't see anything.
And if you were to put a 100-watt light bulb literally like 6 inches away,
it.
you wouldn't see the light bulb either. So what's been happening is the school districts and some of the administrators are obviously very cautious to protect the students there.
Certainly.
They don't want the students to have any of these glasses, which is an overkill if they would just check the glasses, make sure they're from a reputable manufacturer instead of buying them from either Amazon or someplace like that where you don't know where they're coming from.
Oh.
Then they would be very safe.
Well, they had them. I saw earlier today they announced that they were giving them away at Midwestern University starting at 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I just came from there. They're gone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Oh, the people grabbed them up.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
These right around eclipse times, these go like hotcakes. I've had 1,000 of them. I'm down to like maybe 100, 150 left.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
Now, if you looked at the sun now, could you?
You would see. Oh yeah, you would see a big kind of a orangey yellowish ball.
So you could see that with.
Yep. Yeah. You can use these any time of the year, not just during eclipses. These are solar viewing glasses that allow you to look at the sun any time of the day. Obviously, when it's up, any day of the year.
Now, the big question, I got a text from someone in Oregon that said, could you, if you were close enough where the sun could be a foot away, would you be able to see the sun?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get it either when they text me.
What?
No, you would burn up. My answer is you'd burn up before you got to the sun.
You'd be toast there.
So this is amazing. When did you first have this passion for this particular subject, solar eclipse?
Well, not so much solar eclipse. It's just basically astronomy and stargazing in general.
Yeah.
Back in 1953, my parents took me to the Hayden Planetarium, Museum of Natural History in New York City.
Oh.
And I was mesmerized by the planetarium show at the Hayden. And I've
there
been
it
hooked
is.
ever since. My first look through a telescope was Saturn and its rings.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, that's cool, yeah.
That is really cool. There's probably so much that people have no clue about where they can enjoy stargazing, and I wish I even knew more. I've heard of, like, the Orion Belt, and what's some of the other things, Joseph, you've heard of?
The Big Dipper.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. So, okay, but let's get back to Tony.
It's great to it's really exciting to look at the sky and see, because it's one of the most romantic things is that it's the one thing that you can always look outside and another person on the other side of the continent
will see the same thing.
Will see the same exact thing, right?
Is that
Almost.
true?
Almost the
yeah.
same thing. Well, that's what
Basically with
interested
time
me
zones,
is that we will not be seeing the eclipse the same exact time as someone in another state.
Pretty much, right. Because the moon's shadow is moving across here. We have a lot of dynamics going on here. You have the Earth spinning at almost a little bit more than 1,000 miles an hour. We orbit the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. The moon orbits around the Earth at 2,200 miles an hour. The distance from the moon to the Earth changes from 220,000 miles to 252,000 miles. The distance from the Earth to the sun goes from 94.5 million miles to 91.5 million miles. Wow. So you have all these changes taking place, so that eclipse to eclipse to eclipse are different. And how you see the eclipse, the shadow moves across here. When the shadow enters the United States, the shadow of the moon here is about 30 miles in diameter, 35 miles in diameter. It's moving across at more than 2,000 miles an hour, and it's going across here. And as it moves across, the diameter gets larger and larger as the sun gets higher and higher. So when we get out here to Kentucky and Tennessee, the diameter is about 70 miles across, and the speed of the shadow has slowed down to less than 1,500 miles an hour. So there's a lot of dynamics going on here, the Earth rotating, the angle of the sun, and so people see things a lot different. And then, of course, you have the partial eclipses. Depending upon how far north or south of the center line you are, you're going to get different pictures there.
That's amazing.
But now, so say we can't experience, say that you've got family in Illinois. Like I've got a bunch of family in Illinois, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I want to experience the eclipse the same time they experience the eclipse. That's not possible, but we're also not going to see the same thing. But then if you want to see what they see, we cannot take pictures of this with our normal cameras or phones or anything like that, right?
Yes, you can.
You can?
If you had a pair of these glasses.
And do it through it?
And you just hold the glasses up, put this over the front of your
Really?
on there, and you can take pictures of the sun through, through your cell phones. Yes.
Okay. So, but don't just take your cell phone and put it up to the sky.
No, you're just going to get a big bright white whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, more statistics. I love those statistics you were talking about. What I've heard is that if the sun burned out and it completely burned out, it would take 8 minutes to reach Earth.
About 8 1/3 minutes.
You impressed?
Oh, you'll like this even. You like this even better. If the sun were to quote unquote stop.
Well, that's what I meant.
Okay,
sort of.
It would still take 1,000,000 years for the light from the core to get to the outside. If you take one photon, one little particle of light, it takes almost 1,000,000 years to go from the core to where it gets emitted from the sun, because it recombines, it bounces around. It doesn't just take a straight path out.
So if it somehow stops, shuts down, then the clock would tick. We'd have 1,000,000 years left of heat.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So we're safe, as far as I know. It's
well,
still
no,
burning.
because once it starts to stop, it turns. It starts using up all its hydrogen, converting it to helium.
So it gets cooler real quick.
Well, what's going to happen? It's going to swell into a red giant.
And then what happens?
We become toast, because we'll be inside the sun's atmosphere, all the way out through Earth and Mars.
Well, okay. Let me talk about that. So So when that happens, the other stars have had that happen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It expands and becomes.
It expands. Yeah, but what happens if you think of this a star as a balloon, and you blow up the balloon, you hold the nozzle, the air pressure pushing outside kind of holds off the elastic collapsing on it, so the balloon's in equilibrium.
Right.
So that's where our sun is now. The core is combining hydrogen atoms into helium, and the heat is pushing out. The gravity of the sun's mass is pulling in. The heat pushing out equals the gravity pulling in, and the sun stays stable. Well, as we exhaust our hydrogen supply, the heat will stop. The sun will collapse on its own gravity. It will then convert helium to other heavier elements, and the sun will start to expand. And as it gets into the red giant phase, it will expand to many, many, many times the diameter that it is now. And the planets of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and possibly even Mars would be inside the sphere.
And what would happen?
We'd be vaporized.
From the heat?
Yeah, the core of our the sun is like 30 million degrees.
So when's that expected?
About 7 billion years. Don't lose any sleep on that one.
7 billion years. So by then, do you think people, unless the Earth destroys itself, which is certainly, I have a bet on that one. I think that's probably going to happen. But if not, do you? They should have technology to like beam me up, Scotty, to a different universe.
Well, theoretically, you look at what's happened in the last 115 years or so. In 1903, we had the first powered flight. And then from 1969, we landed on the moon. 66 years later, we land on the moon. That's an incredible jump.
Yeah, so there should be those type of jumps.
Well, yeah, but we had, since 1969, 70, 71, 72 time frame, we really haven't done all that much other than send out unmanned space probes and put
We're slowing up a bit.
Yeah, well, we have other things, other priorities. The space race isn't, on front page anymore.
That's true. So that's interesting. So you're talking about 7 billion years.
Well, right now, for our current technology, it would take hundreds of thousands of years to get to the nearest star. Remember, the nearest star is 25 trillion miles away.
It is?
Yeah.
And is there planets near there similar to...
Well, we don't know if there's planets on that particular star system, but there are other star systems that do have planets. Right now, we know of more than 3,000 other star systems, 3,800 other star systems that have planets.
Wow. So are new stars being born every day?
Not every day. Probably within our own galaxy, which is just one of 2 trillion galaxies. We get about probably 10 new stars every
And how do they
year.
form? How do they even form?
Well, sometimes there are giant clouds of gas and dust out there. You get a nearby supernova. The shock wave impacts this little cloud of gas at clumps. The little clumps have mass, and they attract more stuff. And over millions of years, these clouds of gas will cohese and combine, and all of a sudden we have stars that are born. If you look at the belt of Orion, you see the 3 stars. Right below the belt is the sword of Orion. With a pair of binoculars, you can see the Orion Nebula. It's a stellar nursery. There's enough gas and dust in there to make 10,000 new stars.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll never go into a giant red.
Not the gas cloud itself, but when you look at Orion, the upper left-hand star, Betelgeuse, is a red supergiant. To give you sizes, we can get 1 million Earths inside of the sun. We can get more than 1 billion suns inside of Betelgeuse.
Wow. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
I knew as soon as he said that, Dave was like,
yeah, movies.
Beetlejuice.
trying to remember Michael
Keaton.
Keaton. He was excellent in that
He's a
movie.
big star, too.
He is. Yeah, that's true. This is fascinating. I mean, it really is fascinating. How old is our star?
About 4.6 billion years old.
So it has 7 billion to go.
Till it goes into its red giant phase.
How do they know that? How do they determine that? Oh, it's a guess? So it could happen tomorrow, then.
No, it's not going to happen tomorrow. We know that.
Oh.
But they estimate the rate of conversion every second. You're going to love this here. Every second, the sun converts 600 million tons of hydrogen into 594 million tons of helium. That's 6 million tons that doesn't get converted, gets converted to heat and energy and light. And the Earth receives 4 pounds of energy from the sun every second. If we receive 5 pounds, we're roasted, toasted, crispy critters. If we receive 4 pounds, we're frozen icicles. So
Really?
we're in that little Goldilocks zone.
Could it ever fluctuate, have solar flares or whatever?
Yeah, we get those. It's called solar weather.
Could it change? Could it?
Yeah, they've had sunspot cycles. They've aligned sunspot cycles to it's called the Maunder minimum from the late 1600s to the early 1700s or so. There was a period of time where the sunspot cycle just kind of faded away, and they got very few sunspots. And in Europe, the average temperature dropped about 10 degrees.
Wow.
So they went into like a mini ice age in there.
Oh, wow. That's and so that does so the sun caused the ice age, you think?
Well, the lack of energy coming from the sun, the reduced solar output, yeah.
So could global warming be because of the sun?
Some of it, because the gases, just like on Venus, the solar energy comes in and heats up, but it can't escape. It's just like we get those cloudy nights here in Phoenix. We get the daytime heating. We get the cloud cover at night. It doesn't evaporate, doesn't cool off.
So some of it, is that like half of it, you think?
That's part of it. I don't know,
wow.
half.
I never heard that from, An Inconvenient Truth.
Okay.
From, Al Gore.
Yeah, Al Gore.
He has
of course,
a
that's
sequel
another
out.
movie. Yeah, an
What is
Inconvenient
the
sequel.
sequel about?
An Inconvenient Sequel. I haven't seen it,
Oh, okay.
but it's
Have you seen
it's
it?
him talking.
Yeah. I didn't see it. I think he won an award the first time.
Yeah, I believe
forget.
so. for documentary.
Wow, this
Yeah.
is amazing.
It is. And we want to remind our listeners, if you're just now tuning in,
Yeah.
we are speaking with Tony LaConte, NASA ambassador. Describe it. Have we gone over what a NASA ambassador is?
Well, there's a couple of things. The NASA Solar System Ambassador Program is where people from across the United States go out. They sign up to do public outreach on behalf of NASA. We get online training. We can dial into phone conversations. We can actually talk to the astronomers and the engineers on the different missions that go on. And then we go out and we can convey the information to the schools and local groups like that. That's one part of it. But my official title is a professional stargazer because that's what I do for a living. I go out to schools, community groups, resorts, and I teach people about the nighttime sky. We bring out our telescopes, we bring out our inflatable planetariums, and we teach people about the nighttime sky. So we use those same resources to do the Solar System Ambassador programs as we do for the business aspect of it.
And we've got a question via Periscope. Can anyone be an ambassador? How does one become that?
You go up to the Solar System Ambassador website, do a search, and it's a JPL Solar System Ambassador. There are requirements to do so many public outreach programs a year, and you have to be able to show an expertise in a particular field, specifically science and astronomy and space exploration.
Great.
But there's a whole application process, and as a fact, I think that process typically starts in the September timeframe.
And I understand also, because we're also getting questions, if you come to like schools and stuff like that. I know that you said that you're going to a library. So
yeah, Buckeye Downtown Library on Monday the 21st from 9 to noon. We'll be out there with our telescopes. If you come out there with a cell phone camera, you'll be able to photograph the sun through the telescopes with your cell phone or digital camera. We're going to have a video system set up. We're going to have some projection systems and a lot of fun things to do.
That is awesome. Now, I have two questions that perhaps the listeners would enjoy hearing about. As a stargazer, so you definitely know quite a bit about the stars, planets, anything out in the universe. Number one, do you study astrology? Is there any relationship between what you do and astrologists?
Well, astrology is what I would call a pseudoscience. And astrology actually and astronomy kind of grew up together there. Back thousands of years ago, the cultures were very superstitious, and they thought, that the stars would control their destinies, their lives, how to make decisions and things like that. My favorite pun on astrology and astronomy is that there are 88 constellations, and astronomers use all 88. Astrologers only use 12. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So,
but there are people that truly believe in that, and I don't mock them or anything. It's what their beliefs. What your reality is and my reality are totally different.
I gotcha.
So I respect their thoughts about those things there. But from a scientific point of view, a star that is 25 trillion miles away, the Alpha Centauri star system, you have more of a gravitational effect on me than that star does. So
gotcha.
Dave gets that a lot, though.
Yeah. So the second question is, anytime you look up in the night or day or whatever, the universe, it's such well, I guess the question, another part of the question is, where does it end? But let's get to that after this other question. Other life forms, other galaxies.
Okay, well, right now we know at the astronomers estimate there are more than 2 trillion galaxies.
So there's got to be something, maybe not.
Hang on here.
Yes.
They also estimate there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on all the deserts and all the beaches of the earth combined. So now you have this huge amount of stars. Prior to 1995, the only planets we knew were the 9 planets back then. Pluto was still an official big planet.
Oh.
That's the only planets we know. Since 1995, we have discovered and confirmed more than 3,800 extrasolar planets within about 2,000 light years. A light year is 6 trillion miles from the Earth. Our galaxy is 125,000 light years across.
Oh.
So we don't have the technology to see, other planets, too far away. So 2,000 light years sounds like a great distance, but in the scheme of things, that's very near. So some astronomers estimate there could be 50 million or more planets just in our one galaxy. Now multiply that by 2 trillion, and now we're also finding planets that are in what we call the Goldilocks zone, based upon our understanding of how life exists, and that is just what we know here, because other systems of life could exist other places, that we have to have water in a liquid state for life to exist. And so there's a zone around every star where it's not too hot, not too cold, water can exist in a liquid form. And now we're starting to find planets in those areas.
Whoa.
So the potential for life is out there.
Yeah.
Now the question is it there? Well, my personal belief is there probably is. Whether or not they're flying trillions of miles to steal our cattle and to pick up people driving pickup trucks in the middle of the night,
I've seen that.
I don't know if that's really going to be happening. But the possibility is out there.
Yeah, that's what I figure, and it's probably a very good possibility at some point.
Back in the 1970s, 1980s, they had Frank Drake trying to drum up money for the SETI program. He came up with the famous Drake equation that predicted more than 1,000 other star systems out there that should have life and that they should be able to communicate, that should be highly technological, have a high technology where they could communicate, and potentially we should find them. And he got funding for SETI, and that's what the basis was, the Drake equation.
And probably at Area 51.
Probably. I don't know. I've never been there.
Is that the one in in Nevada?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Then there's one in New Mexico or Roswell.
I think.
Yeah. Now here's the big question Joseph always wanted to know and was afraid to ask.
How hot are the alien women?
No, that's.
I'm not afraid to ask that one.
No, you're not, because you're very used to that. So
they have 3 eyes and
yes, and the question is, what does the end of the universe look like?
Okay, I'm going to put you in a different realm. I'm going to put you out in the middle of the ocean, out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles from any mass of land. You're in a boat. You're sitting there. You are in the middle of everything you can see. So wherever you look around, you can see equidistance all around you. You're in the middle of there, okay? From our perspective here on Earth, we look this way, that way, this way, that way. As far as we can see, it goes out forever.
Right.
So right now our telescopes, like the Hubble and some of the new large Earth-based telescopes, we can see about 13.6 billion light years out. And we can see the objects by measuring their Doppler effect, how fast they're moving. So when we see an object that's 13 billion light years away, and it's moving at 1 million miles a second, that means that 13 million years ago, that's where that billion years ago, I should say, 13 billion, that's where that object it was.
Oh.
Now it's moved past there in 13 billion years.
So you're saying it's an ever-expanding universe.
Well, yeah, it's like taking a balloon, blowing it part way up, put a bunch of black dots all the way around it with a marker, and then blow up the balloon. As the balloon expands, that's your universe expanding. Everything is moving away. They estimate that as far that we can see back is about 13.8 or so billion years. So we go 13.8 that way, 13.8 that way, and then those objects have moved. So we're probably talking a universe the size of maybe 40, 50, 60 billion light years across that we can estimate. We can't see further than that.
So if you make that assumption, 30, 40, 50 billion light years across, what's at 60 billion light years?
Nothing.
And what is nothing?
Nothing is where time and space are being created.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting.
So
whoever did this is a mastermind.
Well, that's probably another question for another day, actually, whoever did this.
No, I think it's sometimes...
It's the balloon. The whole universe is inside the balloon. All you can see, you're in the center of the balloon. You're blowing up the balloon. So the balloon's expanding. What's it expanding into? You can't see outside the balloon. So there could be something out there, but we don't know.
But there is some type of space to allow it to expand.
Or create space and time as it goes.
Man.
It makes me dizzy to think about it.
Well, yeah, it's incomprehensible in a way.
Yes. It's beyond most of us to figure out.
I do think,
and that's why it's neat when we do have an event like the solar eclipse to kind of like bring it down, and it opens up discussions like this.
It does.
Well, the solar eclipses back in the 19-teens and 1920s, they proved Einstein's theory about relativity and how mass bends light. They were able to predict as the sun and the eclipse, stars behind it, they knew exactly where they were, and they could see the shift in the light due to the gravitational bending of that light from the sun.
Wow.
So they proved Einstein's theory with the solar eclipse.
Really? That is just... I suspect at some point science and, I don't want to say religion, but spiritual aspects may end up at the same place.
Well, pretty much if you look, you can go into the Bible and Genesis, and the Big Bang is in Genesis. God said, let there be light. Boom.
Boom.
You had light everywhere at once.
And that's one way you can explain what is unexplainable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you go through other verses of the Bible, and there's discussions of Job and God talking about the constellations, and there's all sorts of different, there's dozens of areas talking about naming the stars, how many stars. And that's where we actually, it talks about the number of stars in the Bible. So there's a lot of cool things.
Wow.
Yeah, so religion and science, sometimes a lot of people think they are orthogonal, perpendicular to each other, but a lot of times they do truly
Seems
mesh.
like.
Yeah.
And we got a question again on Periscope. Someone asking, what are the changes in the Earth during the eclipse in terms of temperature? Like, are we going to? Is it going to get cooler here in Phoenix?
Well, not in Phoenix. Phoenix,
Okay.
you may notice maybe a half a degree drop. I don't know.
Wow, okay.
Not too much. But in the totality areas, they actually have studies, and they're going to have people all along the path of totality watching the effects of the nighttime in the middle of the day on animals, how animals think it's nighttime. And this is only going to be for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Wow. You're going to see the temperature drop. In some places, it'll drop a good number of degrees. It's not going to go from 90 to 50, but it'll go from maybe 90 to 85 or something like that. You'll feel a drop. You'll feel a cooling drop. And then, again, it depends upon where you are and then how much the totality is. And so there's a lot of people that are examining the effects of the eclipse and on wildlife and people in general.
And I don't know why anyone would want to do this, but can you view the eclipse online? I don't know. I mean,
NASA's going to have a whole bunch of different feeds to watch the eclipse. A lot of the schools are going to do that in lieu of giving the kids the glasses now.
Yeah.
So
I think it would be cooler to go outside and
there are some things that you can do that you want. If you have a colander, to drain your spaghetti, hold the colander, let the sun shine through the holes, and prior to the eclipse, those holes would make nice round solar circles. But during the eclipse, they'll turn into little mini eclipses. You'll project a picture that looks like that,
really?
like part of the sun there. You can get a pegboard hold the pegboard, let it shine onto the ground, just hold it up, and all those circles will turn into little suns. If you happen to be in a parking lot with trees where the light shines through the trees, those trees become little pinhole projectors. And another fun activity to do is to take a box, maybe about like a shoe box, take a finishing nail, punch a hole in one side of it, put a white, like a 3x5 card at the other end, and then hold it so the sun shines through the hole, and you'll project an image as a pinhole projector.
Oh, wow.
I think I did that when I was in elementary school or something
Yeah,
like that. I recall.
Really?
Right. There's lots of ways to safely project the image of the sun and actually watch the eclipse without using the glasses. It's a fun activity. A whole class can come out and make little pinhole projectors.
Dave, we should have Breakthrough Entertainment School. We should do our own homeschool thing.
Yeah,
Our
I
own
think so.
homeschool show.
I got the shoebox. You got the
Okay.
thing that make the hole? Yes, you do. Okay. So will Phoenix ever have a total eclipse?
Not anywhere in the near future.
Okay.
Okay, but in 2023, as a fact, on October 14th, there's going to be an annular eclipse. Now, there's different types of eclipses. We're going to experience a partial eclipse as part of a total eclipse. Sometimes the moon shadow doesn't fall directly on the Earth. It just misses the Earth, so the whole part of the Earth that sees that will just see a partial eclipse. So that's a partial eclipse. And then there's an annular eclipse where the moon is further away from the Earth than its average size there. So the moon appears smaller than the sun. When the moon then goes over the sun, it looks like it's a little ring of fire around the moon. That's called an annular eclipse. And then there are certain eclipses which are called hybrid, which they start out annular, they go to total, and then they go back to annular or some combination thereof. And on October 14th of 2023, there's going to be a total eclipse an annular eclipse that'll go, we'll see here from Phoenix. In April 8th of 2024, there will be a total eclipse from Texas, where's Texas, right up through Ohio here.
Wow.
And then the next total eclipse after the 2024 one will be on August 12th of 2045. And so those are our next big eclipses. And, of course, we have lunar eclipses coming up. January 31st, 2018, and January 21st, 2019, we have total lunar eclipses.
Wow.
You don't have to wear glasses for that.
Nope, you can take pictures, you can stare at them all you want.
And
Lunar
that's
eclipse.
the Earth's shadow going over the moon.
Yeah, the moon goes into the Earth's shadow. But if you were
How did
on
I
the
know
moon,
that?
you witness a total eclipse as the Earth goes between the moon and the sun.
Oh, that's interesting. Now,
I'm going to just explain.
Yeah.
If you were sitting on the moon at that, when you look at the Earth would have a ring of orange all the way around it.
Oh.
Because you'd be seeing every sunrise and
Interesting
every
you
sunset
say orange, right,
on the Earth all at the same time.
We are getting compliments on Periscope. People are calling you brilliant.
Oh, okay.
How do you know all this?
You are. Now, an annular, or whatever it's called, eclipse, you need sunglasses. I mean, goggles.
Yeah, any solar eclipse you want
You need
these.
that.
Because
But not a lunar eclipse.
Not a lunar eclipse. Because the solar eclipses are gradual. It starts at 9:30, ends at noon. So you have this whole time here. Even these people that are sitting here in the totality, they still have 3 hours of this whole eclipse approximately.
Oh.
But only 2 minutes are they totally covered.
I gotcha. Wow.
So they want to have these glasses so that they can see the partial phases
Sure.
as they work up, and then they can take these off during the totality, and they can see the corona all the way around
my
it.
goodness.
And then once that totality is over, you got to put those glasses back on.
Absolutely.
Now, is the total solar eclipse in the partial solar eclipse just in the United States, or is
No.
it's all over the world?
Well, no.
Okay.
That's one of the things there.
Okay.
The totality path will range in diameter and width from about 30 miles to more than 70 miles here, approximately, for this particular eclipse, because the duration of the totality is only about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. There are total eclipses where the totality would be more than 7.5 minutes, and then the path of totality stretches almost 180 miles across. But the partial phases, notice we're all the way down here in Phoenix, and we're 63%. So you got all the way down here. The diameter of the penumbra phase, the partial phase, goes more than 2,000 miles on either side.
Okay.
So the people all the way up in Canada they're at the pole. They're still going to see some, and all the way down to the southern, like the northern part of South America, we'll see a partial eclipse.
But if we have friends in London, they're not going to experience this.
No. The eclipse starts out here. North of Hawaii, out here in this area here, a couple of 100,000, maybe 1,000 miles north of Hawaii someplace, and it goes all the way across, and it ends out in the Atlantic Ocean.
So in other words, Dennis Rodman in North Korea will not see any of this.
No.
But he does have a basketball that he can pretend. Okay. But if you the real question is, if you put these glasses on in front of the guy in North Korea, can you see him?
We're getting comments on Periscope that you should probably just wear those all the time.
Yeah, probably. I'll be in the dark. Well, I'm already in the dark. This has been most fascinating, I got to tell you. There's so much information.
And there's so much more information beyond this, and I know
we should do a part 2 because
we can go eclipse2017.nasa.gov, right? Eclipse2017.nasa.gov. We can also go to your websites, stargazingforeveryone.com.
Yeah, I have this chart up there, and I also have techniques for safely viewing the sun. We'll flyer for that, important. And then of course all of the event that we're doing at the Buckeye Library, the downtown library, and we're going to be doing that. That's open to the general public.
Exciting.
And nightskyshow.com is another.
Nightskyshow.com is our planetarium website where we do our planetarium programs.
You should have your own TV or radio show.
People have said that, but I'm too busy.
I bet you are, but it would be interesting, or maybe maybe a part-time radio show or something where you can update people once a quarter or whatever, because this is too interesting not to have people understand this. I mean, you could talk on so many subjects, which you have already, and to me it's fascinating.
Well, this is a major event because it's going clear across the United States like this here. A lot of times you'll just get a partial, or you'll get only certain parts of the United States will have it. But to go clear across the continent like this, the continental United States, is that's a good one there.
So Washington will have about a 77%.
Yeah, someplace up there. Where is Washington?
Yeah,
they're right in the middle there.
Yeah, 70.
About 80%.
And I know we're wrapping up here, but someone commented about a welding mask. I know my dad is going to be using a welding mask. Any comments on that?
Yeah, you got to be real careful with that. I'm not familiar with welding masks. I don't do any welding, but I know people have done it. Way back when we still had film, people would take exposed film and make multiple layers and hold it up. Not the best thing. Right. I don't know what the UV and infrared and the protection of a welding mask does. These are $2. I don't know what welding masks cost. And
probably more than that.
Yeah, these block out all the ultraviolet, infrared, the heat, everything.
The whole thing.
And, these are good. And I would recommend, if you're going to get them from someplace, get them from Thousand Oaks Optical.
I used to live in Moore Park. Thousand Oaks is right next. Do you know where Thousand Oaks is?
In California.
Yeah, right next to Moore Park.
Someone's asking shade 5, shade 10 sunglasses.
No sunglasses.
No sunglasses.
No sunglasses.
That would be bad.
That's
a bad thing. Yeah, just get the proper equipment.
Yeah, and everyone can enjoy it and
project the image. If you don't have the glasses, just project the image. Watch it on NASA TV or whatever. Yeah. It's going to be all over the place. Check out some local astronomy clubs, some science centers. Anyone related to astronomy is probably going to have something going on. Locally.
Monday.
Yeah.
Big day Monday.
Yeah. We're always talking about movies coming out Friday. Well, we've got something right in our night or day sky,
right in our backyard.
Day sky, right in our backyard.
Skyfall, it's called.
No, that was a
movie, James Bond.
But you go right out there, and these total solar eclipse or partial solar eclipse for us here in Phoenix.
63%.
63% opening this Monday.
Yes, at 9:20.
And only this Monday.
And only this Monday. You can't see it again.
That's right.
But like as you said, I like that you mentioned all the other different great events to look forward to.
Yeah, right after this here, a fun will be the lunar eclipse, and everyone can see that.
Exciting.
Wow, that's cool. Now, why don't you give out some contact information, how people can learn more about some of your events and about you, about the website, about
well, our website is stargazing4everyone.com, and that's our stargazing website. Our planetarium website is nightskyshow.com. We can be contact through the web. Our email is up there, and our office number is 623-979-1393.
Wow.
We do about 300 programs a year between the telescopes and the planetarium shows. We see about 75,000 people every year. We bring out a wide range of telescopes. We have a whole team of people that come out with us and do this stargazing. They're all kid family friendly programs, and if you have a telescope, you don't know how to use it, you bring it out to one of our programs. We give you pointers and helpful hints. Make sure you have it put together, know how to use it.
Wow.
Every program we do, we give everyone a star map with stars on it.
Oh, really?
And we teach you how to use it. And every month it's a new map, and we give those maps out for free to everyone that comes to the programs.
And the final question is, are you a Trekkie? Do you love Star Trek, the first one, the original?
The original, yes.
So do I.
Okay. I actually like Star Trek. I like pretty much, Star
Captain
Wars,
Kirk.
everything.
Oh, you like
Dave
the whole
likes
thing.
Twilight, too, though.
I do.
I don't even know what. Don't know.
Okay.
Oh, that was for the youngsters.
But you like it, too.
Teenagers. I don't know how I ended up there.
I don't know either.
Anyway.
You weren't a teenager since the last total solar eclipse.
That's easy for you to say. Okay.
One last thing.
Yeah.
On our website, we have our public program schedule that has all the programs we do with the Maricopa County Parks, the Challenger Space Center, the Glendale Public Library, City of Buckeye Parks, and the things like that. So we have a whole schedule. People can come out there. All those programs are open to the general public. We typically get anywhere from 200 to 600 people at a program.
That is really, really nice. Well, I got to thank you. You are a wealth of information.
Thank you.
Your passion just sort of comes out, and you could sense it, how much you love what you do. We really appreciate that, too. So, Tony LaConte, Stargazing for everyone.
NASA ambassador.
That's right. That rhymes. NASA
and
ambassador.
Solar eclipse expert.
Yeah, as well as many other things. Thank you again. We'd love to have you on again. I'm sure there's many different topics you could talk about. Really appreciate it. And this is Breakthrough Entertainment. And this is, I'm looking at Joseph J. Erdo. Until next time.
Why are you looking at Joseph J. Erdo?
Because I'm going to give you a plug. Next time, more movie reviews. Maybe both ends of the spectrum. And
maybe a little bit of both ends of the rainbow as well.
Yes, definitely watch the solar eclipse with the appropriate goggles, though. That's really critical. And if you're not sure, talk to an expert. Make sure they are appropriate. We want everyone safe and healthy. We'll see everyone.
And thanks to Greg.
Oh, Greg. Yes, thank you to the producer. And we'll see everyone next week. More Breakthrough Entertainment.